Boom, we're live. This is Tio and the Arcane Bear, and today we're going to be diving into Bitcoin's recent price plunge and whether or not we thought it was manipulation or not. Due to the fact that we had called the $7,400 turnaround almost for the last 2 weeks, we are obviously leaning to the side that it's not manipulation, but I think it brings up a lot of great questions in the market, so let's dive into that right now. So if we jump over here, we're going to go straight into the chart. Now, I've had this exact chart and the random lines drawn on it for the last almost month and a half. I haven't changed this chart or touched it all. I've been following the same trend. Now, these bottom lines down here, this isn't actually how you measured the downtrend, but what I'm doing here is I've calculated where I see highs and lows come together, and I've used that as an area of support. So here you see a low and a high, followed by a low and also a high and a low, and then again another low. So the $6,400 area is actually where we came pummeling down to. Now, the reason why we had called $7,400 for the turnaround was because this bearish trend, which I believe it's known as a bearish descending wedge, a descending bearish wedge, maybe something pretty damn close on that one, but the results are always the same. We usually follow this heavy support line down, and I believe you have your 200-day moving average really close to that at the moment too, so it's a multiple of aligning factors that really held us back from going any higher than 7,400. Now, we thought we might see 7,700 on on wick, and we saw 75, but that was about it. Before, as soon as we hit the $7,400 area with any volume, we turned around. We also had a lot, this was a fairly stagnant move that we had as it was developing as well. So it was really counterintuitive to think that $7,400 or the Bitcoin would go any higher than $7,400. So having a short position at $7,400 dropping down to $6,400 is a $1,000 drop in less than 24 hours. Those are significant gains for anyone that decided to ride that short wave. But this is not investment advice. This is strictly for information and educational purposes only. And with that in mind, if you're new to the channel, throw us those thumbs up, pound that subscribe button. And if you're new to the Bear family, please remember to join the Telegram channel in the links below. There's a lot of great people there, always helping each other out. Learn more, educate, discuss, and share everything from philosophies to recipes on the barbecue. So make sure you join our Telegram channel there. It's full of great Bear family members. Now, to dive back into this thought pattern here, a lot of people have been asking me, well, what next? A lot of people got scared when we saw such a big red candle drop so quickly. A lot of people wanted to dive in and say, oh, this was news from Goldman Sachs, or this was this manipulation of the Bitcoin here or that. But I try to really think about the entire universe as a whole, like it's a single moving piece of art, and you can't escape that. And that's really one of the fundamentals behind why we make these bets and we kind of follow these trend lines. It's not because it's manipulated or because we know what the future news will be. It's likely that the universe itself seems to have some type of pattern. Now, there's many great people who have theorized around the different patterns that exist in the universe that you can capitalize on. The Fibonacci extension and retracement is one of those tools that allow you to capitalize by building mechanics off and around it. Now, that's important because this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a mechanical structure of emotions of people. So the emotion we saw that was coming was the $7,400 mark, hitting that trend line, and then a reversal to retest the $5,500 line, which we had said we had tested multiple times before. But first, we had this $6,400 or $6,300 line at this multiple high and bottom low, which is what proved to be the support. Now, I do suspect we could see a quick jump back up to this area around the $6,700 as a retest before extending back down to the $5,500 area. But for the last 2.5 weeks, since the previous drop of around $8,000, we've said $5,500. We didn't actually get that low. We got to $5,900. And then we touched back up to $7,400 on the dot. Now, the bottoms are a little harder to call because you are generally dealing with more people's negative emotions, so candle wicks can get all crazy. Whereas in the positive markets, everyone gets excited and wants to hold on, so it actually has a less drive to move forward. You got to remember that bulls are actually just as confident about buying as bears, but they purchase and accumulate in different areas. Now, I myself, as an arcane bear, I look to accumulate as much of this as a low of a price as possible. Now, let's say I bought some at $20,000. Oh, derp, that sucks. I made a bad choice, but hey, I'm learning. Let's not give myself too hard of a time. I decide to make an entry point around $6,000 and around here. So now I own three. Let's say I bought 3 Bitcoin, one at $20,000 and 2 at $6,000 each. So now I've actually lowered my average cost of each of those Bitcoin down to around 8 grand. So it's not as big of a loss as a single Bitcoin. Now, I've been in this space long enough to know a thing or two about riding the crazy economic waves that come through this ecosystem, because again, we're defining something in the blockchain space that really disrupts governments and banks. Like, seriously, it does that. So we need to take that into account. Time here is, I've mentioned this so many times. Patience is one of the greatest assets that you can have in this space and in any business as an entrepreneur, because generally we think we want to be there now. When I started playing the drums when I was 15 years old, I wanted to be as good as Danny Carey then, right? And that's not how it happens. That's not how they got there, and it's not how you will go through the process of getting somewhere as well. It takes a lot of failures and consistent trial and error to bring a success to the page. So, bought Bitcoin when it was at its high at $1,300 in 2013 too. I bought it all the way from $90 up to $1,300, averaging my cost, but it wasn't until 2.5-3 years later that I was like, oh wow, now that $1,300, which looked like a loss, actually became a win. And a lot of people don't have the fortitude of that stomach to invest, and there's a reason for it, is because there's a key principle to investing that you should always recognize. Number one, do not play with money that you cannot afford to lose, because you will severely regret it if the money that you were supposed to be spending on your baby's diapers, you spent on Bitcoin, and now you can no longer afford the necessities to make your family life better. Now, if you don't have any expenses, like I myself personally, I can throw money into all sorts of crazy directions as a solo individual, even as a business entrepreneur. It gives us the room to kind of grow and develop. I think your fortitude for withstanding failure is what will bring success. So I'm very, very adamant about using and investing into our own personal assets, like patience, the one I just said. For me, music has been huge into pattern recognition, and it's been great for this type of stuff. So I don't want to digress too far, but what I really want to reiterate is that investing is for people that have the money that they can afford to lose. They're not trying to make money by investing. That's not what investing is. Investing is seeing a possibility to make what we would call residual income, or a residual or passive income, meaning that I can speculate that I know that this is going to do well over the next 3 to 5 years. And with the money that I have sitting in the background that I'm not going to touch, that it will do well over the next 3 to 5 years. And then from there, I can build from a new base and foundation. But I'm still working hard on other businesses. I actually just recently started a new website, helping sell video cameras and stuff like that. We're doubling down on content for the Arcane Bear, which means we're hiring writers. We're upgrading the website this week. So the part of the purpose of life is not just to invest to make money, but it's so that you can enjoy what it is that you do. And money is just a catalyst for those types of things. So regardless of anything that you're working on, I want to remind everyone that some of the most valuable things you have are already right in front of you. We commonly don't enjoy them when we should be. Yes, we should be. So please take your time out to do that. I try to remind myself, like when there's little leaves falling from the trees, I try to catch one and think and just look at the little veins in the leaves. Whatever it is you do to, I get in contact with nature. So I'll finish this off here because it's only about Bitcoin's price plunge. Maybe I'll do 1 or 2 more about news subtly here afterwards. But I do suspect we're going to see a green candle up to 6,700 before coming back down to testing 5,800 and possibly 5,500. Although if we do see a breakthrough here, this is a possibility. It's a low possibility. I would only put it in about the 10% chance range of actually happening. But if we break through here into 6,900 again, 7,000, we might actually extend into a bull market, although I'm not putting bets on that. It is a very low possibility, but in this beautiful world that we live in, anything is a possibility. This Deal with the Arcane Bear reminding you guys to smash that likes, give us those thumbs up, whatever it might be. Subscribe as well. Join the Bear Family Telegram in the links below, and have yourselves a wonderful day. Give the people you love a hug, a high five, whatever it may be, some vocal supportiveness. It's a beautiful world, and we help it make it more beautiful. Yeah, I got it right that time. We'll see you guys on the other side.